hope everyone had a nice weekend. You're watching the Drop TV. My name is Zuriti, and this is the Breakfast Club special. I moved out my friends recently, and I can't tell you how liberating it feels. Although it's a lot of work, it's a ton of work. You have to wash the plates, and I can't tell you how liberating it feels to be able to go in and do whatever I want. And I mean, for all my savings could afford, it's not the nice place. It's a shittle really, but it's my shittle. And if someone were to come in and start to regulate what I was or wasn't allowed to do inside, I don't know how to react. And while that may not be the best of metaphors, it is what the Same-Sex Marriage Prohibition Act seeks to do on the face of it. And there's not only in Nigeria, there are lots of homophobic countries that have legislation similar to this. It seeks to legislate behavior between two consenting adults. Today we're going to be having a very important conversation about this, about the beliefs and perceptions surrounding homosexuality in Nigeria. We have Bisi Alimi, who is a gay rights activist and the first Nigerian to come out as a homosexual on national television. He's joining us via Google Hangouts. And in the building, we have Flo, who is a minister of the gospel. So yeah, sit tight.
Before we proceed, I would like to state that Disrupt Media does not condone discrimination or bullying of anybody based on their gender, their race, their sexual orientation, based on anything other than the content of their character. And that we hope that everyone can express their views in a way that is empathetic to the other side. All right, joining us, we have the usual suspects. This is representing Shodem Camp. We have Tech, we've got Kid Connect. With us today via... Yes.
Hi, my name is Kilikam. No, don't rush my intro.
With us today via Google Hangout, we have Bisi Alimi, who is a gay rights activist and the first Nigerian to come out as homosexual on national television. Today in the studio, we have Flo, who is a gospel artist and the producer and singer behind the hit song Twale, which everyone in Nigeria has no doubt heard. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Bisi. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you.
Hello, my name is Tech.
Yeah, for real. They're like, okay.
You guys are the special ones today. You guys are like, you're not important today.
And point of correction, I'm a minister of the gospel. I'm not a gospel artist now. Because when you say a gospel artist, it presupposes that I have no other form of expression.
Okay.
And I do. I can decide to come up with a love album tomorrow.
Oh,
you understand?
Okay, so you're just putting that out there. Okay, so if
once
you say
gospel,
You're confined to a box.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want
in Nigeria though. All music
so
here
while
sounds the
you're
same,
a minister, your expression,
you'll say,
music-wise is
behind
limited
gospel.
to...
Yes. No.
Okay, all right. Okay, my bad. Okay, now let's jump right into it. A lot of people are of the opinion that homosexuality is un-African. What would you respond to that?
Well, from my perspective, I don't think homosexuality is an African factor. I think it's worldwide. It's not just limited to Africans. Maybe Africans are coming to the realization that it is a factor amongst us, but globally, it's not new.
Okay, it's not new.
No, it's not new.
So you do not agree with people who say that, it's the white man that is bringing this to us?
No. It's like saying the white man brought water. That you just discovered it doesn't presuppose that, because you're not in control of it, doesn't presuppose that somebody else introduced it. No.
Do you feel that like it's just at a certain point it was, I guess, more taboo to speak about over here, and now that it's becoming, I guess,
yes. Now that there is a global perspective to the issue, now a lot of people who would see it as a taboo, as a curse, now see that it's not synonymous with Africa alone. It's a global trend. Right. So looking at it from that perspective, it never has been Africa.
Okay, so BC, how would you respond to that?
Well, first of all, I think it's very interesting to see. I've forgotten what you try to identify yourself as a preacher of the gospel. I guess that's what you said. A minister of the gospel. To actually see a minister of the gospel affirming, that homosexuality is actually part of the spectrum of sexual experiences in Africa. I find that really commendable, and I really, really want to commend you because it shows the level of, understanding that you have about this issue and how much you personally have traveled to understand the issues. Because I was expecting you to say it's so on Africa and it's so on this, but your level of understanding of the issue is highly commendable. And I, as a gay person, I really want to say thank you for that. But to go back to the question, the other one that you raised about the issue of choice, I don't really like to drag this for too long because of three key reasons. Number one is when people tell me that my sexuality is a choice that I have chosen, what that implies is that I have another option apart from the option that I have. And I chose what I have. And if that is applicable to me, then that automatically is applicable to every human being. That every human being on earth has a choice to either be heterosexual or be homosexual. And hence, some of us chose to be straight, while some of us chose to be gay. And then the question that I would like to pose back to you is, when did you choose to be straight?
Okay. Now, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian by birth. When I say by birth, it's not like I chose Christ. When I was born, I had no understanding. In fact, I dare to say my understanding of Christianity evolves as time progresses. My knowledge is progressive. And so as I have more knowledge, it affects the way I communicate with people. So going back to what it is that you said, for me, when someone says that they are gay, one of the first things I look at is, okay, we don't share the same view on matters. You see yourself this way. I don't have a problem with how you see yourself. But one thing I need us to understand is the fact that whatever choice you make, there is a consequence that precedes that choice. When you decide that, you know what, I want to be a pastor, we all know that when you call yourself a pastor, you are almost akin to not committing sin, to not making mistakes.
But you get jets.
You get, you see,
You're simplifying the issue. Being a pastor is a profession, whether you like it or not. Human beings are born on the spectrum of sexual orientation and gender identity.
Okay.
And we are not all made to express the same sexual orientation. So why some of us are born, and this is scientifically proven, why some of us are born to express sexual fantasy or sexual orientation towards the opposite sex. Some of us are born to experience or exhibit sexual orientation towards both sexes, while some of us are born to experience sexual orientation towards same sex. That is the spectrum that human sexuality operates in. And the fact is, it is not a choice. It is not a choice that you wake up one morning and you say, okay, I'm going to drink Gary instead of eating amala. Life is not, sex and sexual orientation is not as simple as that. It's not something you go to a supermarket and you have to choose between sliced bread and bread agege. It is not as simple as that. I think the more we simplify sexuality, the more we put ourselves in a position where, like I said, you started off very well, but I think you model it up by trying to simplify how a personal individual will want to exhibit or express the way they feel towards either same sex or opposite sex.
No, Bisi, I'm not trying to simplify it. What I'm basically trying to make you understand is this. I can't control your choice. I can't control what you do, but I can control the way I
Stop calling it choice. It is not a choice. It is not a choice. Don't call it a choice. That word is very offensive. It is not a choice. No. Because why will I choose to be gay in Nigeria where I can go to jail for 14 years? Who is that crazy person that will want to choose that?
Okay, look at it this way, BC. The laws are made so that there is no chaos, there is no anarchy. Now, if someone says, okay, do you know what? This is who I am. I want you to make a law that will certify and validate what I choose to be. There will be anarchy, because then everybody will come up with personal preferences and say, you know what? I came to the realization of this, validate me. There are 7 billion people on the surface of the earth.
It's not like that. The creation of law in the rule of law, the whole essence of the rule of law under democracy is that the law is put in place to protect the minority from the voice of the majority. So that is what the rule of law is. Wait, let me finish. And that is why we have a law. We have a law that will inform and instruct businesses to say, if you must operate in a certain country, you must have a certain level of women on your board, because economically, men would want to dominate. But in order for women to become participants in the economic progression of a state, the law will have to come in place to protect the rights of women who are seen within the society as being very vulnerable. The law is never in place to protect the strong. It is always in place to protect the weak. That's what the law is for.
Yeah, Bisi, that is where I beg to differ. The law was not created to protect the minority. Let's be factual. The red light does not respond to how expensive your car is. Whether you are driving a keke marwa or you are driving a bicycle, once it says red, you stop. The lights are not, they are not partisan to any particular individual. The moment it says stop, stop.
I have a question on what you were saying about validation, that there shouldn't be a law to validate, because then everybody will come up with their own sexual quirks that they want to be validated. In this case, is it really validation that these people are seeking, or peace, or they just want to be left alone and be able to do what they want to do between themselves and another consenting adult?
Let me explain to you why it is validation. When you have to call the entire city and the village to your matter to say, you know what, this is how I feel. Who else feels that way? It's personal. You don't have to go global. Really, it's personal.
It is not, Flo, it is not personal. And I will tell you why it is not personal. I came to the realization of my sexuality when I was 18. Prior to that, and I came to the realization at 18 because I was bullied in school. I was seriously bullied. And at the age of 17, I got back from school one day and attempted suicide. That was the first time in my life I tied a rope around myself and I wanted to kill myself. I was rescued. I attempted suicide till I was 29. Because I felt that the situation and the country that I was living in then, were telling me that something was wrong with me. When I came out on TV, I did not come out on TV because I wanted to be a superhero. I was coming out on TV because I wanted to save my life. And not just save myself, because I know that there were so many people, like my 17-year-old, who needed to hear that nothing is wrong with them. There were so many people like my 17-year-old who needed to know that they need to celebrate themselves. And there were so many people like my 17-year-old who were not as lucky as me, who died from an attempted suicide because of the rejection that they were facing in their community, within their family, the bullies on the playground. So when you talk of the fact that some people wanted validation, like she said, I don't need your validation. I just want you to please leave me alone. That's all I'm asking. I don't need you. I don't want you to validate me. It's not my business what you think. But what is important to me is I want to walk down the street of Umushi, of Lekki, of Aja, of Ikeja, without being beaten and being bullied. And I don't think that is too much to ask.
Now, Bisi, based on what you have said, let me take you on based on what you have said. You said you want to be left alone. Now, that is valid. You should be left alone to your precepts and your vices. But do not ask the law to validate your freedom.
Vices? Did you just use the word vices? Did you just use the
When
word
I say
vices?
what I meant, it wasn't supposed to be it wasn't in a derogatory manner. No, I apologize. But what I'm trying to say is, when you say, okay, you know what, I just want to be left alone. I want to be who I am. No problem. Now, but you need to understand that in your doing, I said something at the beginning. Whatever choice we make, there are consequences to them. So you want to be left alone to walk down the street of Mushin. You know, you want to do as you please. You need to first and foremost understand that there are other people on the street who have their own value systems. Now, even in the UK where you are at, there are people who do not accept and who do not support your stance. There are some places in the United Kingdom that I know of. I don't really know about Barking, really. But I know of places in the United Kingdom which you will not really be able to move freely. You will be lynched. So you see, the fact really, taking you back on what you said last, you want to be free. Yes, be free, but don't ask the Lord to validate your freedom. Be free to do whatever it is that you want to do. You understand? Now, when you decided that, okay, you know what? These guys are going to kill me in Nigeria, I'm going to move away. I'm going to go away. You know, you being the first, I think you coming out to state that, you know what? This is my status, this is who I am, is very bold. It's quite bold.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
I'm now thinking is this. You are the forerunner in Nigeria, you are the first. It may sound funny, but really, there are some people who are not as bold as you are, who will not have they won't have the guts to actually come out and say, this is who I am. Now, you being away from Nigeria, really, you are not helping. Come back home. Now, when you come home,
That's a point.
no, look at it this way. You're laughing. Look at it this way. Now, Bisi, when you Bisi, when you come back home,
No, I disagree with that because
this
he was
is
brave here.
no. Hold up. No. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Bisi is a coward. No.
I'm. Let's put that all out there. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's hard to push that fight when you're outside and there are people here who don't have the nuts to say.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So, if you're saying that he should be here, when there's a rule of law that states for your stance that you have chosen, you're going to get put in prison for this amount of years.
Okay,
You
let me
can't even fight.
But that's
Let me-
tons of them already here.
let me repose the question. Let me repose the question to you. Let me pose the question to you. As at now, the government of the United Kingdom has given you freedom to express that which you want to express. Here is my question. 2 months down the line, if the British government decides to rescind, I understand there's a process of law. If the British government decides to rescind on this law, will you run away again? Where will you run to next? Will you run to the next nation that will protect you?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your question. You talk about value system, and there is a contradiction in what you're saying because the value system are informed by the social perception of the people that live together. So if today, the social perception of Nigerians says we will not discriminate against anybody based on their ethnic group, their gender, their sexual orientation, our value system would change.
Yes.
It is as simple as that.
Yes.
Value system is not rigid.
Yes.
And you talked about
Yes.
me leaving the country, and I think you made a very good point. And this is a question I ask myself every day, that maybe I should pack my bag and I should go back home. But the words of my elders always come back to me that says, "He who lives to fight will always fight another day." When my house was broken into in 2007, a gun to my head, and I was almost killed. If I had died, I would have been, confined to the shelf of history. I'm alive today, being a pain, in the body of Nigeria as an institution, to say that people like me should not experience what I experienced. But if my coming back is an invitation you're extending to me, I hope you have a spare 1 bedroom in your apartment that I can stay.
And 24/7 security.
Bisi, I have one question. Sorry, I have one question for you, Bisi. And I want you to answer me with all sincerity. Are you willing to die for what you stand for? Are you willing to lay your life down?
This is not what I stand for. Because we have to understand that this is who I am.
Okay, so let me rephrase. Based on who you are you willing to die to stand in the gap for those who don't have the clout that you have gotten off this? There are some people who can't champion a cause the way you are championing it.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever been beaten on the street, been called names, and a gun to your head because of the fact that you're a Christian?
Not that experience, no. No.
Okay, so when you experience that for 1 minute, then tell me what your decision would be. But until you do that, don't question my rationale to want to stay alive.
Sorry, I'm happy you said that. That brings me to my question. Hello, BC. I just want to know, do you have anything against Christians?
No, I don't. I was born. Let me explain to you.
Look, I watched one of your interviews, and what you said, the current state of Nigeria, how people view like homophobia pretty much in Nigeria, is not a Nigerian thing, it's not an African thing. You said Africans are accepting of all alternative cultures, right? Those are your words. So what you're saying is that it's from a foreign influence, a Western influence. My question is, what's a bigger influence than Christianity in Africa?
No, but hold on. Is Christianity?
But what's a bigger influence from the foreign? What's
Christianity a foreign import?
From where? Where did we get Christianity from?
It's from missionaries. I'm asking. No, hold on. If you say he said that, first, let me certify he said that.
Christianity, it is not in any way African. Christianity was an import. And even up until now, the people that are practicing Christianity have no idea where the religion emerges from. You know, there are so many links to the adaptation of what we know as Christian. And most importantly, Jesus was never a Christian. Jesus never called himself a Christian. Jesus never wanted people to go to a particular building and worship him and give money to a pastor. Jesus was just doing his own thing. Jesus could have been Martin Luther King. Jesus could have been Mandela. His life was not set out. I think the whole issue of religion is the desperation of human being to take responsibility away from them, give it to someone else. And what we have done is we have created Satan, we've created the devil, and we've created Jesus. And in a way, we remove ourselves from taking responsibility from our actions, or we remove ourselves from taking responsibility for what really matters. Now, to your question, I was born into a Muslim Christian family. My dad is still a Muslim, a very strong practicing Muslim. My mom is still an evangelical Christian. I have no business with whatever they believe in. It's none of my business. It doesn't put food on my table. It doesn't pay my transport fare. It doesn't pay my salary. I don't care what they believe in.
Right? You made your choice, right?
My choice is when it comes to religion.
Yes. You can't have a choice.
Yeah, it was a very informed choice. I asked myself, principally.
It was taken by whom? Your parents or you?
I took the decision myself not to believe, and that was why I said it was. I practiced both religion. I questioned both religion. I put both religion on. I did not choose any. I put both religion on a pedestal. I question it. I ask question. I dig deep, and I realized that I realized that they are nothing but philosophy.
Okay, can I just jump in and one second? I think that my view on religion is different, and I feel that if you take one of the biggest forms of Christianity in the world right now, there are a lot of practicing Catholics, for example. Now, the rules and laws that have been set within Catholicism to govern us are constantly being modified and tweaked by the headquarters.
Yeah.
So to me, my main thing then follows that, and even within Lord forgive me if it's about to be blasphemous, but even within the context of the different testaments within the Bible, laws that were, there's some certain parts where I read, we're going to go to this village and kill all the women and children in this particular village because it was given to us as a instruction from God. But then when Jesus came, and within his own time on earth, within his own mandate, the greatest message there was actually to love your neighbor. And even within that, there was no preconditions. Like love your neighbor,
there was.
but
He said love your neighbor as yourself.
Yes.
That was a standard he set.
Okay.
You understand?
So as I will assume that you love yourself.
Yes, and that is why someone who decides that, you know what, he's homosexual. If I met Bisi on the street and Bisi told me that he was gay, I wouldn't look at him and say, cast yourself away from me, you evil spirit. No. What I would really do is, there is a root cause for why he has chosen that path. If I don't understand or sit back to look at it to say,
He said the C word, the choice.
He's going back to
The
the
choice.
choice.
And it is, can I just say something?
Choice.
It is a prevailing perception that for people who are homosexuals, they either chose to be that way, and they probably had an experience with some uncle who touched them some way, or we keep going back to this
Choice.
notion of choice. You chose to be. What if this person didn't choose?
okay,
What
now
then?
let me explain to you what choice is. Choice is conscious. Choice is deliberate. Let me ask you a question. You are wearing eyelashes that are not yours. They're like, I like to call them umbrellas. You're wearing one umbrella.
Yeah, if I flutter them, I can fly.
Good. Now, you're wearing umbrellas on your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why did you decide to wear them?
Because I need them for this appearance that I need to have.
Now, when more people certify that what you wear is beautiful, is there tendencies that you will wear it more often?
No, not really.
Hold on.
Because whilst I do like the way I look now, this is makeup that I put on for the show.
No, I'm referring to the umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so what about the umbrella exactly?
If you get more compliments about it, that it makes you look better, and then you actually do see on film that you look better, is there a tendency for you to still...
Don't you think calling what she's wearing an umbrella is extremely sexist?
Sexist? No. Remember what I said? I said I like to call it. I like to call it umbrella because of the way it looks.
Yeah, that's a fun thing.
Yeah. You understand? It's not being sexist.
You should take your time. I call them therapists.
We will get. If it's sexism,
It's
we
not.
will finish.
It's not
Yeah.
about.
So if based on the logic you've just explained now,
Yes.
choosing at a certain point, he felt a certain way. He might have noticed some differences and decided to act upon them
Yes.
and go this way. Now, if you had chosen to go with women, for example, then that's a choice as well.
Yes.
So what you're saying is that your sexuality, being heterosexual or homosexual, is a choice.
Is
so
a
then,
choice.
what then makes your choice better?
Good.
Or what?
Now, very fantastic
This
question.
seems very pleased with
Now,
the question.
like I said, every society has its own religious beliefs, so societal beliefs.
What? Sorry,
No.
I'm sorry, Bisi, you said what?
I said I love that question. That's the best question so far.
Now, if we go by each, I believe that there are religious beliefs, there are traditional beliefs, there are societal beliefs. Now, if we start from the first one, religion, we all understand, as a Christian, let me speak as a Christian. My faith has made me to understand that God has made all creatures in pairs, male and female. That is the basis for procreation. for recreation.
For pregnancy.
Sorry, can I just chip in here that there are actually insects that can fertilize themselves. They don't need male.
they are
They're not.
insects,
They don't
no?
come in male. Just chip that in.
No. You see, you know why I don't want to digress in that manner. We are speaking about humans.
Humans.
Now,
I'm with you.
leave those animals. They
Okay.
have their
No,
own-
no, you
Yeah,
cannot.
yeah.
You cannot because wait, you cannot, and I will tell you why you cannot. Let me explain to you why you cannot.
Becoming
And I'm going to
Hold on,
speak as a
hold on,
biologist.
hold on.
Wait, let me speak as a
No, let me
biologist.
finish. Then
Like
you can
somebody
speak
that believes
about
in
it.
evolution. Like
Hold on,
somebody
let me
that believes
finish.
in evolution.
Let
We are
me finish so
microorganisms.
that I don't lose my train of
So
thought.
we all originated from a form of organism. Amoeba is a very wonderful
No, hold on.
example of
Heated.
BC, hold on. Let me finish. Now, like I said, I've identified three major sources. One is religion, one is tradition, one is society. Now, 2 and 3 are actually mingled together. They intertwine.
I agree.
Now, from the religious, you can split it into 1,000,001. You have the Buddhist, you have the Muslim, you have the Christians, Hare Krishnas, and the Nanas. You have them all. Now, from a Christian perspective, we've been made to understand that God made male and female. When he made Adam, he decided that, look, Adam, there's no point in you keep looking at male and females, and then you have no one of similitude. There is nobody you can compare yourself to. And so the Bible makes us understand that God put Adam to a deep sleep and made woman. Now, he brought the same thing he did, which was he brought the animals and watched what Adam was going to name them. He brought Eve and said, okay, let me see what you're going to name. So by default, he knew that, oh, fantastic, you are from me. I used to ask people, how did Adam know that she was human? There were no mirrors.
The vagina.
No, reflection. He had always seen himself. He had seen his reflection on water. Now, we now have Adam, we have Eve.
Let's do it bit by bit. So now that you've talked about religion, maybe I can now talk about religion, then you talk about society. You know, these are part of the reasons why I stopped being Christian, because there are no basis for it. Now, you talked about God creating Adam and Eve.
Yes.
You know, that little Disney story that we were told. But there are scientific evidence to prove that were people living before Adam and Eve. And
When
nobody
you said people,
knows.
were those people only males?
Only males.
No, it doesn't matter.
No.
Don't
I
let us
need
go
you
there.
to be concise.
Because now we don't even. No. I did not interrupt you when you were speaking. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Interruption, BC, I'm asking.
Now,
See,
there were
see the way you're
people.
shooting
Wait.
bullets. I just need
There
you
were
to make
people-
me understand. When you say there were people
I just need you to
living,
make me
were they
understand.
only
It doesn't
males or
matter
were
whether
they
those
male?
people. Wait, it does not matter.
No, then what would be the
It does
yardstick
not
for
matter
God
their
deciding
gender.
to make male and female if only males were dominating?
You don't get. If you let me finish, then you will get what I'm saying.
go ahead.
What I'm saying is this: it's as simple. The idea that humanity started from Adam and Eve is faulted because there were people living on earth before Adam and Eve, before the fairy tale
Okay,
of
but
Adam and Eve
where
were
are these
sold
people
to
now?
us.
What I'm trying to say is this. From a Christian perspective, God made male and female. Yes, there might have been creatures before then, but as at the time where Adam and Eve were, there was nothing else. There were animals, there was Adam and Eve. That is where, I mean, if you follow the trend, you have Cain, you have Abel, and gradually mankind started to expand.
That is if you believe that.
Understand what I'm saying? From a Christian perspective.
Okay, from a Christian
From a
perspective.
Christian
Who did they have
perspective,
sex with to have children?
Hold on, there was
They
Adam
must be
and
gay then,
Eve.
because then they must
No.
be having sex with each other. They were
How
just two
can
men.
But okay, BC, you've been married for how long? Do you think any?
I'm not married.
Okay,
I
you're
am not
Okay.
married. I'm just going to
Okay,
get married
okay.
next
you're
year.
single. Okay.
Engaged.
Now,
Yeah.
you're engaged, right? Now,
I am
do you
engaged.
think-
I'm getting married next year.
Okay, good,
Congratulations.
good. Now, do you think there's
Thank
any
you.
possibility that you and your spouse to be will ever produce a seed? I'm not talking about test tube babies, surrogate mothers. Do you think either of you can procreate? Do you think either of you can give birth to a child?
Biologically, no. And I'm not going to argue that with you. Biologically,
no, in fact,
science,
if
scientifically,
your
we can't.
answer, your first answer, no, you actually don't need to justify the rest. Your first answer actually just does a very good job. Now, here is my point. I'm saying from that perspective, so that we, the discussion is tailored. From that perspective, what I'm saying is, a male and a female are the only ones that can bring forth a biological, using your words, a biological seed, which is a child. Now, if everybody were to say, you know what, I think I'm gay. I think I'm gay. I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. And then we all decide to bring these preferences to the table, and then we annihilate biology. What will happen to procreation and recreation? We will go extinct. We would.
Can I answer your question then? Can I answer your question?
Take a break, but Bisi, please answer.
Yeah, everybody cannot be gay. What you said is an assumption, and I don't deal with assumption. Everybody cannot be gay as much as everybody cannot be straight. Sexuality is a spectrum, is a long list of people emotionally, psychologically, and biologically falling in love with different types of other forms of gender or sexes.
Yes, but we see
so don't let us compound the trouble.
I understand, but who defines that sexuality?
The thing we're talking about is why should the person that I fall in love with, why should the sex of the person I fall in love with affect your sexuality? That is the question. Why should it be a problem for you? Is it me marrying a man that will stop you from impregnating your wife? Is it going to stop you from having electricity? Successful life? These are questions that people are not facing. The way you live your life does not. And the reason why people like me will come out is because some people like you, and I'm not talking about you in particular, but some people have a view that people like me are advices or menace to the society, so they will get rid of us. And that's why we want to come out.
Okay. These are your questions we'll answer when we come back.
Yes. We need to take a break now. This is a very interesting discussion. I want to commend both sides for at least trying to be civil towards each other. This is still the Breakfast Club. We will be right back.